You are now tuned in to Live on Reloaded.
Hey guys, it's Caitlin Moss here, and you are now tuned in to Live on Reloaded.
This is Mia Anstein, and you are tuned in to Live on Reloaded.
Today we're going to have Brennen Nading and his partner Dylan from the Breaking Point TV. Now they've been around a while and used to be affiliated with the Pursuit Channel and Carbon TV, and they got almost 50,000 followers on Instagram. But for whatever reason, they're not doing that good on YouTube, or not as you would expect. I wouldn't say they're doing poorly, but and that's something that I wanted to get into. But first, y'all know what today is. It is Veterans Day, and I wanted to do a little thank you for our veterans out there. Just want to take a moment to say thank you to all our men and women in uniform, past, present, and future. God bless, and thank you for your service. Mike, I believe you are a veteran, so thank you for your service. Anybody else in here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
You.
you for everything that y'all do for our country and the public. Now, I was wanting to get back to Chris. Me and you've talked about this some in private, but do you think possibly that YouTube has become watered down a little bit, where there is more creators out there than there is people who support and actually watch people? You know, like back in the days, you would flip through channels and trying to find something to watch on TV, and YouTube offers that. It has everything that you could want, multiple things to watch. But it seems like now that it's becoming watered down with more creators than it is supporters. You think that's kind of going to have an effect on YouTube going forward? And maybe what's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, I do. I mean, I think, well, it's one of those things. It's everybody. You know, the more people that create, the more people are out there, and it's going to be tough for anybody to jump up and become those bigger creators, just for the simple fact that you've got so much to go through. And I think too, the other effect that it has is that your content will get lost. No matter how good your content is, no matter how, whatever, your content's going to get lost amongst those, you know, because there are so many more. I really feel like it's just, I mean, it's something that everybody has to deal with. It's not like it's one person, or, it's like everybody has to deal with it. And I think that moving forward, I think it could hurt the platform. But I think too, also, I think moving forward, like it's just it pretty much ups the game, so that you have to challenge yourself to come out with new stuff that's different from other people, and it really opens that up.
Right. And it's especially hard, aside from the mainstream people, you got the bigger channels out there. I like to call them mainstream YouTubers. They seem to get a lot of support, but other than that, it just seems like there's so many people creating now that there's not as many people looking for good stuff to watch on YouTube. And it's especially hard for us outdoors people, with the antis and the anti-hunters, anti-gun folks and all that stuff. It's really hard. And I want to get Brennan in their opinion on that, because they are transitioning over from TV to YouTube. And I'm wondering if they're finding it harder to make the transition from that to here.
I think it definitely is, and I think too, just the the platform, like things have changed so much. Like when YouTube first came out, it was just random videos, and they weren't that long. And then, then there was this format where people needed to create like a 10-minute. And now people are talking about even going to like 20 and 30-minute videos. And even as like a creator myself, a 30-minute video, unless I'm really into what you're putting out for 30 minutes, it's probably not going to catch my interest. I mean, that's like a TV show, and I think they're making it more network based, in that way. And so I think, with that being said, I think it's just going to be, it's going to be a tough go no matter what right now, because everybody knows about YouTube. Everybody's on it. Everybody's creating, and there are new platforms out there that are different, and that I still see a lot of people growing. But the other thing that you have to contend with, and it's just like we've kind of talked about, as being an outdoor channel, having something that not everyone's going to agree with, and it's more of a niche. I wouldn't say it's a niche, but it is. I mean, it's not widely, is like, like a prank channel or something like that everybody's going to jump on board with.
Yeah.
Those kind of channels, it's just a tougher market. It really is, because you don't have the amount of people that you do in some of the other markets. So I think it's going to be tough going forward. And I think the more creators, now that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be more creators and more people shouldn't try and do that. But the algorithm, I think, is a big factor in that. And I think there's a lot of different stuff. But we've talked a little bit about it, and
I just realized, for whatever reason, the Nightbot is not working for all my presets that I did. So I was trying to make it easier for the moderators. I was trying to put some information in there for all the people who wonder why we don't talk with the chat. We are going to open up the chat room later in the show. If y'all have questions y'all want to ask these guys, or questions for us, we will definitely come back to that. So we don't want y'all to feel like we're ignoring y'all. We just owe it to our guests to give them all of our attention, and it's hard to carry on a three-way conversation and be in the chat too at the same time. I guess while we're waiting on Chris, I will do our For the Viewers segment. We had some people reach out to us. This was Fat Man Fishing. Thank you, Triple Tail TV, with a nice hog right there. We appreciate you sending that in as well. And Melissa Dawn White, 1979. I'm not sure if this is her husband or her boyfriend or family member or just a friend or something, but that was a nice buck there as well. Thank you for sending y'all's pictures in. If anybody wants to get your pictures up here, reach out to us through email, or you can get with us on social media also.
Hello?
Brennan, hey man, what's going on?
Hey, Brandon.
Go on.
So y'all are out there at deer camp, huh?
Yes, sir.
How's that
Yeah,
going?
Dylan and I are down in Iowa.
Y'all geared up and ready for the rut up there? Is that hitting yet?
Yeah, it's been kind of slow for us last few days, but we're expecting for it to crank up here the next couple.
Man, I'd love to be up there in Iowa. I'm down here in North Georgia in the mountain region, and the bucks ain't the same as they are up there in Iowa.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
But yeah, man, I was wanting to ask you. Earlier we was discussing about aside from mainstream YouTubers, it's getting harder for others to break through, especially for the outdoor genres. My theory is that there's just too many creators and less people actually looking for great channels to watch on YouTube. With y'all transitioning over from TV, would you say it's been harder to find success on the YouTube platform than it is when y'all was on the TV side of things?
I mean, that's a pretty broad question. I feel like with going to digital platforms, we've kind of been able to, target an audience more.
Yeah.
People are seeking us out versus going on TV and watching what's playing on TV. I mean, you can flip a TV on, but you can't control, what a platform is going to play unless you're on a digital network.
Right. I understand it from that aspect. It's much easier, and everybody seems to be moving over to the digital platform.
Yeah, I feel like it puts your content in
Right. Yeah, I understand it from that side of things.
Just completely.
I got Dylan sitting right here next to me. He produces and is also doing a lot of the editing, and then he does a lot of work on the Black Camp Media side of things away um, from our television show, and he does a lot of freelance work. He's been on a couple big hunts this year with Michael Waddell. He's out in Montana with Chris Hood hunting elk this year for a Matthews assignment. So I got him sitting next to me.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
guys got any questions about editing or
Awesome.
here, and he's the guy for it.
Yeah, we will. We especially love y'all style of things, and I'm guessing he's responsible for all of that, right? Or do all of y'all kind of take hand in that?
I'm not taking any of the credit for that. No, we've got kind of our own stuff that's kind of happened over the last couple of years. And, I'd say I edit maybe 30 to 40% of the Breaking Point shows, and then our other guy, Mike Mansell, edits the remainder of it. And just kind of our baby, I guess, is kind of, come to be in the last couple of years as our style's kind of evolved.
From my understanding, Brennan, you and Mike met in college, and all this kind of snowballed from a turkey hunting competition. Is that true? And can you kind of give us a backstory on that?
Yeah, that's true. I think it was freshman year of college. We went to the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. We both went to school for natural resources, and we were living in the same dorm hall. And he was on the first floor, and I was on the third floor, and we had mutual friends. And we had our friends. I never had met Mike, but we had mutual friends that kind of stirred the pot. And it was right around springtime, and they'd come up and tell me that the guy on first floor kills more turkeys than anybody around here, blah, blah, blah. And then they'd go down by here and say the same thing. Yeah, the guy up on the third floor, best turkey hunter around, blah, blah, blah. Well, then we were drinking one night, ran into each other, and we kind of had a friendly competition about who could kill the most turkeys. We bet a half barrel of beer on it, and we killed a shit pile of turkeys. I think we shot like 24, 26 turkeys that spring between the two of us. And then we decided we should probably hunt together and start filming some stuff.
Nice, man. Yeah, I was watching some of y'all's earlier Turkey Mayhem stuff, and y'all got some amazing footage on there with the kill shots and the aggressiveness of the turkeys. I really enjoyed watching those.
Oh yeah, we well, that's kind of how we started was with turkey hunting, and the first couple of years Mike and I hunted together. We made DVDs and we just sold them by word of mouth. And I think the first year we sold around 300 DVDs. And the second year we sold around maybe 450 or 500. And that was just in like local archery shops in Wisconsin and people we do. And then we kind of took a break from the turkey stuff. And then once the Breaking Point started kicking off, we started kicking out a mini series called Breaking Spring. And usually between 3 and 6 episodes, just short episodes, action-packed, and Dylan does all the editing behind that too.
Awesome. Now something else I wanted to ask you. Where did y'all come up with the name The Breaking Point?
I guess I don't really know. I know I was the one that came up with it, but I can't remember how it came to. At the time, there were, to come up with a name in this industry anymore is extremely tough, and a lot of the Breaking Point had to do with, at the time, Mike and I were at a point in our life where we needed to decide between we need to do this, we need to do it right, or we just need to step away from it because we were putting so much time and effort into it. It was either we need to go all in or we need to quit. So it kind of was our breaking point, if you will, to
Gotcha.
continue on with it. That's kind of where the name came from.
Gotcha. Now, my partner with me on this is Chris. He's kind of a film nerd too. He's a camera nerd, I guess that's what you call him. So I'll let him come up with the questions for Dylan. As I told you, I was preparing for you only. I didn't know Dylan was coming on, but I'm glad he did. And but I think Yank will have more of the appropriate questions for him.
Yeah, that's good. If you asked me about a date, I wasn't sure if I'd be with Dylan or not, or where we'd be at. But when you first asked me, I knew we were gonna be heading to Iowa, but I had no idea how long we'd be here, if we'd still be here, or if Dylan would be somewhere else. So that's just kind of last minute. I'm still with Dylan.
That's cool, man. No problem at all.
It all depends. I mean, it depends on your story, I guess. You know, I mean, you can have an episode that turns out to be a 15-minute episode. You might have filmed it in 4 or 5 days on a hunt versus, you know, a lot of our episodes are an entire season. So it really depends on the story. I mean, if you're doing your job as a creator, you're telling every element of the story, whether that happens in an hour or if that happens over 10 months if you're preparing for the season, hunting all season, and finally finding success. So I think there shouldn't be any sort of set number or clips or anything like that. I mean, story's a story, right? There's so many elements to it. As long as you capture that, then you should have what you need to tell that story, I guess. I don't know if that's quite answered or not, but
Yeah, absolutely. It was more or less to tell people what goes into an episode like that. Like, if you know, a lot of people look at something, I know they think it's just like a 1-day deal or a 2-day deal, and it's filmed and done. And a lot of times that's just not the case.
yeah, I mean, especially for, you know, we kind of cut our teeth on the whitetail side of things, and you probably know just as well as we do that isn't something that just takes place in the fall. You know, it's something that you're thinking about all year. You're planning for your hanging stands, you're checking trail cameras, planning food plots. So we're always, you know, planning that as part of your story. So whether, you know, Brennen's calling me and saying, hey, I'm doing plots this weekend, would you mind come film me? Or I'm going to do stands this weekend, you want to come along? It's just kind of being there and capturing those elements so that when you're talking about it in the show, you aren't just saying it, you're actually showing it. And I think that goes a long way visually and just kind of helps your viewer kind of connect with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So now, what kind of equipment are you filming? Do you go with the whole 4K, or are you?
Yeah,
are you going 1080p?
We switch off quite a bit. We all almost exclusively shoot Sony. So whether that's Sony A7S2, Sony A7 III, or Sony A7R III, I'd say those are the cameras that produce, I would say, 90% of the content on our show. We're swapping back and forth from 4K to 1080 quite a bit. I probably am switching back and forth 3 or 4 times on a hunt between those modes. You know, we do all of our interviews in 4K, a lot of our scenics in 4K, and then a lot of our action is in 1080. And that's just because you can film 120 frames per second in 1080. So then you can get that nice slow motion. And, you know, that's what a lot of people like to see when you're showing, you know, the kill shot, or, you know, a lot of those really buttery slow motion shots are what people look for, I guess, or, you know, really enjoy watching.
Yeah.
And y'all can't see it, but I'm showing some of y'all's footage in the background. I had thrown Dylan in there where he was doing the footage with all the camera gear laid out on the table and showing B-roll and all that stuff. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, Brennen, you shot some really nice bucks, man, and you've done it across multiple states. I know it's going to vary by properties and conditions, but aside from hunting big buck stakes, have you found a commonality on where these big guys like to hang out, and what's your ideal setup?
I mean, I would say coming down to Iowa was probably the smartest decision I've ever made. I grew up in Wisconsin with the rest of these guys, and I had a buddy back in, I think it was 2010 or 11, invited me to come shed hunt down in Iowa. And it took 1 year of coming down here and running through these Iowa woods for the first time. And I packed up everything I had and I moved down here. It's unlike any other place I've deer hunted. I don't have a lot of ground that I hunt. I've got access to a couple farms that aren't that big, but it's just being in an area where there's lower hunting pressure, and it gives those deer just the ability to get to the age they need to get to.
Right. I couldn't agree more on that. People letting them grow. It's hard. I hunt on small property too. We live on 80 acres here, and it's not the best for holding them, but it's great as a travel corridor. They travel through here a lot, so I gotta do the best I can with that. And my neighbors hardly let anything walk. It's rare to see a 3-year-old here, so it's awful.
Yeah. Having grown up hunting in Wisconsin has definitely made me appreciate hunting all the places that I've hunted outside of Wisconsin because, and I don't know if a lot of people will agree with me or not, but from all the states I've hunted in, I would say Wisconsin is the toughest state to consistently harvest mature deer. By far, just because the hunting pressure is so heavy, the structure from the DNR with how the seasons lay out, and the ability for people to go with high power rifles during the peak of the rut. It's just Wisconsin's a very tough state to consistently kill big deer unless you have a huge tract of land.
Yeah. And I was watching one of your videos where you had went back home, I guess, and y'all was up in a box blind and y'all was complaining about all the rifle hunters. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, Dylan was with me on that, and I've been asked if I'll ever gun hunt Wisconsin again, and I don't think I will. We're going out on top with that one right there. So,
Now, speaking of all the big deer you have killed, does the name Jumanji or the number 15 mean anything to you?
yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Did you ever get either one of those?
No, so the story goes on that property. I kind of got lucky getting permission on that farm, and both of those deer were out of the same tree. It was on October 31st, 2015 when I missed Jumanji, and I want to say it was November 8th or 9th when I hit 15. And since then, that guy he had sold that property, and I have been unable to get back on that farm.
And
I have no
for
idea
everybody in the chat room, this is Jumanji.
I would have to believe that if somebody shot Jumanji,
He missed, and
media,
this was 15 that he missed.
In that area, a lot of people, I think, are anti-social media, so that deer could have easily got shot, ended up on someone's wall, and nobody ever heard about it.
Man,
okay, thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate it.
I figured those names would sound familiar to you, but man, that Jumanji, yes, yeah, that's what you dream about right there.
There ain't too many days that go by that I don't think about that. So thanks for bringing it up today. I hadn't thought about it yet.
No problem, buddy.
Well, recently, I noticed on one of your videos, it's my state, basically Oklahoma, but you were hunting Oklahoma, and you called on the phone, you found a place on Onyx, and you were able to get permission.
Yep.
And I find it extremely hard, like, to find and just get permission on places here being a local.
Yeah.
What is the normal way to go about that?
Well, the reason there was last year we were getting, well, it was actually about this time of the year. It was mid-November, and Mike and I had talked about finding another place to hunt late season. And we were thinking about, somewhere on the Kansas-Oklahoma line, somewhere there where we could potentially find a couple properties in both states and be able to efficiently hunt two different states and be close. We knew that it wasn't an option for Kansas that year because Kansas is a draw license, obviously. So we wanted to find land close to the border for the following year and then potentially get on Oklahoma for that year, which was last year. So Mike, at the time, had a little more free time than I did. So he started, I told him, I said, just dive into Onyx and, find properties and find landowner names. And then we've got a website that I'm not going to give out just because I don't want everyone doing this. But we found a website that pretty much lets you get phone numbers for landowners pretty easily. And and I just started cold calling all these landowners, telling them our situation. You know, hey, we're looking to get on some hunting ground. We want to archery hunt. And we got lucky. I actually talked to this one gentleman's wife, who was a real sweetheart, and talked to her, and she had her husband give me a call back when he got in from farming that day, and we kind of hit it off over the phone. He actually lived out of the area from where the farm was. He said, go down there and have at her. He did charge us a little bit of money to access the property, but it was very reasonable, and it turned out to be a pretty good chunk of ground to hunt. And Mike was fortunate enough to go down there and harvest deer in Oklahoma last year.
That's really awesome.
Shot a buck and a couple of does off that farm.
Sweet. Yeah, we seen the Oklahoma hunt. Chris, he's actually from Oklahoma.
Which part of Oklahoma?
Oh, well. So I live in Oklahoma City now, but I used to live in south and western Oklahoma.
Okay, I got you. Sounds good. Yeah, we're in the northern part of the state. So.
Yeah, the northern, our western and northern parts are really good.
Yeah. I'd like to get out west, but for us to get to the west side of Oklahoma, that turns into a pretty long trip in a quick hurry. We kind of steer towards that east side just because a lot of the time we're crunching time to make these trips work, and if you add another 6-7 hours to it, it turns into quite
Yeah. Well, and there's very big deer there.
Yeah.
In northern.
Yeah, we noticed the body size and the mass of the deer were definitely less than what we're used to up in, say, Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, Kansas. But there was definitely a lot of deer, and there was good age structure. But even the older deer that we figured, to be 4 or 5 plus years old, they just didn't carry the mass like the Midwest deer did. They were kind of spindly. But that was the main difference down there. But hell, for us to drive down there, I mean, if we can get consistently see 130-inch deer, it's worth it for us.
Yeah. Now, Brennan, I noticed that you wore an eye patch over your eye. Is that an eye dominance thing, or do you have something else going on when you was wearing that, or what's up with the eye patch?
Nope, I am definitely I'm left eye dominant, and I cannot close my left eye unless I close my right eye. So when I go to bed at night, I have no issues closing my eyes. But if I go to aim my, look through my peak sight with both eyes open, my left eye just takes over. And so, yeah, I've worn an eye patch since I was 12 years old. Yeah, the patch engaged tonight, but these guys all give me shit for it, but whatever.
So have y'all been shooting some Deer 30 episodes up there while you've been up there?
Yeah, we actually just filmed one last night. Dylan edited it up, and we released it here a couple hours ago. So there's a new one on our YouTube channel right now that kind of recaps our first 4 days of hunting down here in Iowa.
Sweet.
Awesome. Now you travel a lot. Do you have sponsors?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the breaking point is just it's just a piece of the pie when it comes to how Dylan and Mike and myself survive. We have a media company. It's called Black Stamp Media, and we do a lot of other multimedia projects away from the breaking point that help ends meet. Like I said, Dylan does a lot of freelancing stuff. Dylan has a lot of clients, totally non-related to the hunting industry. And him and Mike do a lot of stuff on the side to, bring on other work for Black Stamp Media. But yes, we do have several great partners that have helped us come a long ways as far as the breaking point goes.
Now, Dylan, he said that you had been working with Michael Waddell. You plan on coming down here to Georgia and doing any hunting with him?
Man, I'd love to. I wouldn't say I've done a lot of work for him. I've only been on one trip for him this year, and it was just a freelance gig that I got a call for, and it was a blast. Michael is the real McCoy as far as TV hunters go and big personalities. He did not put on any kind of personality or anything. That was a heck of a hunt. Had a blast, man.
Awesome.
I would love to come down to Georgia. I told him I would pay to go film him turkey hunt in the spring.
Sweet.
I'd just like the turkey hunt with the guy. He's obviously,
Yeah.
one of the best out there.
Did you get to pick his brain a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, got to basically hang out with the guy for a few days while we were in camp, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Now, I know y'all do a lot of whitetail and turkey and antelope hunting, but do y'all got any bucket list hunts y'all plan on doing in the future?
Moose is my top.
Moose?
Yeah, moose and elk is definitely on the radar for us. Aside from that, I know Mike has definitely been put in for preference points for a lot of sheep hunts and stuff like that takes 7, 8, 9, 10 plus years to draw.
Yeah.
So I know Mike coming up is going to have some high priority hunts coming up in the future. I know Dylan's bucket list animals and moose, and I know all of us are itching to get after elk. So I would say we're definitely going to be starting to dabble in that stuff in the coming years.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
Now speaking of bucket list, what is your most memorable hunt?
Oh, I don't know, Dylan. You want to take this one? I'll just say, as far as me going and filming somebody's hunt, I think Brennen's mule deer last year was probably the top for me. Just as a breaking point hunt, it was just a lot of fun, and mule deer spot and stalk, trying to film it all. It's a blast, and we actually were fortunate enough to have some success, and that's definitely one that I will never forget. Had an absolute blast doing. So I think that'd be my top as far as breaking point hunts that I've done. Yeah, that one definitely ranks up there for me too. Just because it was my first mule deer with a bow. It was a hunt that I'd been wanting to do for a while, and we royally got our ass kicked for the first 4 days of the hunt. And when it finally came together, it was pretty special.
What would you say the biggest deer is that y'all have harvested?
What's that?
What would you say the biggest, inches wise, would be the biggest deer that y'all have harvested?
Inches?
Yeah.
The biggest deer I've shot was turkey foot. I shot him with my muzzleloader down here in Iowa back in 2016. He went 169 and 3/8.
Nice.
I believe my best buck was out of Wisconsin, and that was left. I don't know if you've ever seen that episode. I think it was in 2015, and that buck, he went, I think, just shy of 160. It was like a 159 and change. And Dylan you shot a good buck in Wisconsin before breaking point. Yeah, I was just a kid. I shot a 169 and 168, 7/8 in Wisconsin with my rifle. But that was my best buck ever. So we're still waiting to break into the food category. Yeah, we're close.
I figured this one. I don't remember what video I got it from, but it is a monster, man. Let me see. I don't know. I guess it was probably an Iowa hunt. I don't know, but the mass on this thing is crazy. It's about as big as a forearm.
Yeah. That's Ronnie. Yeah, that was the bow buck I shot in 2016. I shot him off the same farm that I killed my 169. So I shot Ronnie with my bow. No, I shot turkey foot, which was the 169. I shot him, and then 2 nights later, I went in there and I shot Ronnie, which is that heavy buck you're talking about. He went 165 and 5/8, I believe.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge deer.
Yeah, these are some pretty big deer. I'm still underneath Pope and Young down here, so I'm jealous of y'all get to chase these deer around up there.
Yeah, but you guys.
That's really what I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, so in northern Oklahoma, the bodies on the deer are small, but the further west you go towards Kansas, the bigger the bodies get.
Okay. Yeah, and I
They're
know,
definitely still not like Missouri.
Yeah, from what I've heard, you know, if you want to get into the bigger deer in Oklahoma, you got to go to that west side. But like I said, until we have more time, I don't know if we'll ever venture that far. It's really convenient for us to be able to hunt Oklahoma and Kansas and be on the same side of the state where we have access to Kansas ground right now.
Now we got a question out of the chat room. They want to know: did you bow hunt the antelope, or was that rifle?
Mike has never shot an antelope for the Breaking Point show. He has shot a couple before we started our show. I shot an antelope, I think, in 2014 with my bow, and then Dylan shot one last year or 2 years ago with his bow. So those are the only two antelope that we've harvested so far for the Breaking Point.
And was that up in North Dakota, or where was that at? He lives up in North Dakota.
Both of those were Nebraska.
Nebraska, Mike.
Yeah, we've been hunting the west side of North Dakota. Mike drawn what they call an any deer tag for North Dakota, which means it's good for whitetail or mule deer.
Yeah.
So we've been hunting the west side of the state early season, and we have seen some stud antelope out there on the west part of North Dakota. But it's pretty tough to get your hands on a tag out there. I think it takes 3, 4, 5 years to get a tag.
Yeah, he farms up there. He said he could shoot him off his tractor if he wanted to, but he don't.
We've seen some stud bucks on public ground out there, some stud antelope for sure.
So y'all hunting in
Did they
the...
outlaw the
Go ahead, Chris.
decoys?
What's that?
Did they outlaw the decoys for the pronghorns?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, the majority of people you see out antelope hunting are using the decoys. I know Dylan and I hunted a little bit in Nebraska this year, early season, and you know, obviously we read up on the regulations and stuff, and it was still legal to use antelope decoys out there. So, I mean, as far as other states go, I couldn't tell you one way or another, but I know people that were using decoys out in Montana this year, so I'm going to have to say no, but I don't know for sure. You know, I guess it depends on what state you're talking about.
Got a specific state, Chris?
No, I was just curious. I'd heard that they were trying to anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't have an answer for you other than I know decoys were definitely legal for archery season in Nebraska and Montana this year. Yeah, it might be like a rifle season thing. Yeah, it could be.
You got any more questions for Dylan there, Chris?
Yeah, Dylan. What do you think? Like when you go into the field with them and film, how much more difficult is it filming hunts than it is filming anything else?
Right, that's kind of like the twice the scent, twice the move it, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes the hunt a lot more challenging, but I think it's just really making sure that you're capturing every element throughout the season. I mean, everybody seems to get complacent where, you know, you might go out and hunt 20 times, and by the 20th hunt, you're kind of slacking where you're not filming as much every sit. So it's just kind of trying to go out there and make sure that you're trying to tell that whole story every time you go out. I mean, I'm looking at it like tonight, you know, it was bitterly cold when we got out of the blind tonight. And it's like, the last thing I want to do is get my hands freezing cold and film, but it's, you know, trying to, you know, film getting out of the woods, getting back on the Rambo and riding back to camp. And that's all part of the hunt every night.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of shows where you can tell that the videographer just gets kind of tired out. You know, if you're on a grind of a hunt and the story really starts to lack towards the end, and it's just because the videographer is sick of filming the same thing over and over again, when really, I mean, that's kind of your job, to kind of tell that story whether or not you're having luck. So I think, you know, going out there and just kind of making sure you're capturing it all every time you go it makes it challenging to kind of stay fresh and stay consistent. Sit in and sit out, I guess.
Right. And I self film. I wish I had a cameraman to follow me around, but I self film. And there's a lot of these shots I feel like I should get, but I don't. Like climbing up in the stand, getting out of the vehicle, and all the small things just to put the story together. I'm just too lazy, to be honest with you, to do it myself. But yeah, I can definitely understand that.
I don't know that laziness is a part of it. It's just that, when you're self-filming, it is just a lot more challenging to tell or, capture those small details, set a camera up on a tripod and then you walk 30 yards away from it. Then you got to walk back to the tripod.
Yeah.
You got to walk back 30 yards to be made up. So it's just, when you're self-filming, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
So we're pretty fortunate where, very seldom do we self-film anymore, and I'm really thankful of that. But, I mean, if you're self-filming, it's pretty hard to stay regimented and making sure that you're capturing everything every time.
It almost takes away from the hunting experience, don't it, when you're trying to lug all that around and worrying about the shot and all that?
I won't self-film anymore. I'd rather just not. If I'd have to self-film, I'd rather not hunt and wait till I got somebody to come film me, as bad as that sounds, just because I don't want to slack and go out there knowing that I'm not getting the content as I could be.
Now, Dylan, how did you get your start?
These guys really gave me my first start. I was pretty fortunate to get hooked up with these guys at a time that, it was my last semester at college, and I'd never really picked up a real camera in my life. And got hooked up with these guys through a bouncer at a bar that I frequented, and they needed somebody to film, and I said, hell yeah, I'll come try it out. Never looked back. I skipped a lot of class that last semester going to film light, and had an absolute blast. And within a few months after that, I bought my own professional or semi-professional camera, I guess, and was already, thinking of ways that I could ditch, my career choice and try and figure out how I could make a living filming stuff. So just was fortunate enough to get in with these guys at the right time.
Sweet, man.
That's awesome. Heck yeah, we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, there's a big crew of y'all. Do all y'all know each other personally? I know that Brennen, do you actually live in Iowa now, or?
Yep. I'm down in Iowa. I got a place down in southern Iowa, and then all of my family's up in Wisconsin, and now I was actually able to walk away from my job this past August and go full time for the company. So I'm actually on the road quite a bit. That way I'm up closer to Mike and Dylan. But yeah, I got a place down here in Iowa, and then I spend a lot of time up by those guys doing work for Black Stand Media and being closer to my family. So.
Gotcha. Well, if Chris don't got any more questions, I will move on to the rapid fire segment. And since there's two of y'all can split the questions, or y'all can let either one answer whoever wants to answer what question or whatever. Chris, you got any other questions?
The only thing I was going to say is I'm just really impressed by the videos. I mean, the cinematography, the quality, everything. You guys are amazing in what you do.
Yeah, y'all are.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank you enough for noticing that and taking note of it. That means a lot to us, man. We really do appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, so this first question, Chris, you got a little bit of a delay there, so I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry, man. We've never done this on the phone, so we're kind of feeling our way on how we was going to do this, and it's kind of throwing a wrench into us a little bit.
That's all good. We appreciate the flexibility. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, appreciate y'all for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. That.
So what is the stupidest thing that y'all have done on a dare?
Dylan can have this one. I don't know. On a dare?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got to be some sort of drinking thing. Yeah, no, I got dared to blow a fireball one time. I didn't know how you did it, so I definitely did it wrong, but I ended up blowing a pretty wicked fireball after like 2 or 3 shots of Everclear.
Oh man, the Everclear is basically rubbing alcohol, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
If you could give a wedgie to any celebrity, who would it be?
A wedgie?
Yeah.
Giving a wedgie? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Rosie O'Donnell. Dylan goes with Rosie O'Donnell.
Nice, interesting pick.
That is kind of interesting. They're both redheads. Isn't Rosie O'Donnell a redhead? Isn't she a lesbian? I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's a redhead. Definitely just not a redhead.
She is lesbian. I don't know if she's redhead. I thought she was a brunette. I could be wrong though.
Either way, I'm calling her a redheaded lesbian.
Fill in the blank here. Hannah Barron is what?
I don't know if I know who that is.
Are you?
Someone I don't know.
Y'all aren't familiar with Hannah Barron?
No.
Wow. Y'all get on YouTube and check her out. She does a lot of hunting and catfish noodling and stuff. She's blowing up, so I'm really surprised y'all are not familiar with her.
Check it out.
Yeah. Okay, so if the whole the Breaking Point crew was in a death match, who would be the last one standing between y'all?
JP's been scrapped. Yeah, we'll go with JP.
Okay. And what is the thing you are most afraid of? Spiders?
Running out of dew in the tree stand.
That is pretty scary, ain't it?
Yeah, it is definitely crazy.
Chris, you got some of them rapid fire questions?
Yeah. So I've got a couple. Bikini contest or opening day of bow season?
I'm gonna go bikini contest because opening day of bow season is usually pretty overrated unless the cold front hits perfectly.
It's too hot down here in Georgia too.
Yeah, for you guys for sure.
Okay. All right. Elk, beef, or turkey?
Elk.
Elk. Let me see here.
Chris ain't his typical self today. He's been up since 3 o'clock this morning, so he's he's wore out.
Yeah, I worked a 14-hour day.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna call it at that, man.
Oh, that's all you got? I would have came up with some more if that was all you had.
I apologize. I'm a little out of it.
It's all good.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate y'all taking the time and coming up here, and we wish y'all luck going forward. And we're going to try to get y'all some new views and some subscribers if we can, throw them y'all's way. And really feel like people should be watching y'all because y'all have some great footage and some great hunts, and there's a lot of people that's really missing out on y'all.
We appreciate you guys having us on tonight. And, yeah, we appreciate the feedback because really we're putting it out for people like you guys, other people to find it and seek it out and want to watch what we're busy doing. So thanks for having us, and good luck hunting, obviously. And, yeah.
Y'all too.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
You bet. No problem at all. Our pleasure.
All right, we'll see you around, man.
All right. See ya.
All right, bye. All right, Chris, I have to unmute you over here. You should be unmuted and off the call now.
Okay.
So that was fun. I
so
wish we would have had some more rapid fire questions for him because they was throwing out some humorous answers there that we
yeah, I
don't
like the rapid fire. The problem I was having was every time I would talk, I was getting like double feedback in my ear, and that's why I was like stopping mid sentence, and I don't know. It was, but that was just. It was one of those things we'd never done a call before, and so it's.
Yeah.
I think
And
it's
I
one
was
of those
worried
things,
it would
just
kind
trying
of
to figure it out.
yeah, I figure we'd fumble with that. I actually, Mike was saying to mute your mic, and I thought you was going to do that, or turn your speakers down one and only leave your phone on. But I muted your mic halfway through, and it should have cleared things up for you. I don't know how it was on your end.
Yeah, I mean, I think all in all, like it went good tonight. Those guys are great guys. They definitely. It's amazing to me, like that cinematography that they do. It's really like it's set up shots, and it's just that stuff takes so much to do sometimes, and I definitely don't think they were getting enough credit for, especially on YouTube, anyways.
Yeah, so they got like 50,000 followers on Instagram, man, and they're not doing as well on YouTube for whatever reason. And me and you discussed this. Sometimes people have a hard time transitioning over from TV to YouTube platform, but I think they'll have more success moving forward as long as they stay at it, because they got some great hunts, and I love their footage and their style of filming.
Yeah, really great guys too. I mean, just awesome
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
to interview and have on the show.